I am 81 years old. For 34 years, I was a firefighter. I ran into buildings that other people ran out of. I carried strangers down ladders through smoke so thick I could not see my own hands. I pulled children out of fire. I held dying men in my arms and told them they were going to be okay, even when I knew they were not. People called me a hero. The newspaper printed my picture twice. The city gave me a medal that still sits in a box somewhere in my closet. And tonight, I'm sitting alone in a quiet house. No wife, no warm dinner waiting. Just me, an old chair, and a silence so heavy it presses on my chest harder than any beam ever did. So let me tell you something before it is too late for you. I spent my whole life saving strangers, and I could not save the one thing that was mine to keep. I could not save my marriage. If you are watching this, I need you to listen. Not because I want your pity. I do not. I'm too old for pity. I am telling you this because I see you doing exactly what I did, and I thought I had time. I was wrong. Let me explain. When you are young, you believe the most important battles are the loud ones, the emergencies, the fires, the moments where everyone is watching and your hands are shaking and lives hang on what you do next. I was good at those battles. I was built for them. When the alarm rang at 2 in the morning, I was out of bed before my eyes were even open. I never hesitated. Not once. But there was another fire burning the whole time. A slow one. A quiet one. It was burning in my own home, and I never smelled the smoke. My wife's name was Eleanor. We were married for 41 years. And the cruel truth, the thing I have to live with now is this. I was always there for strangers in their worst moment. But I was never there for her in her ordinary ones. The birthdays I missed because of a shift. The anniversaries spent at the station. The night she fell asleep alone while I told myself I was doing something noble. I told myself she understands. There will be time later. We will travel later. We will talk later. We will fix it later. Later never came. And here is the part that haunts me. The part I need you to hear before this video ends. I did not lose my marriage in one big dramatic fire. There was no single moment, no explosion, no final fight where everything broke. That is the lie I want to destroy for you tonight. Because you think your life will fall apart all at once and that you will see it coming and that you will have time to run in and save it. You won't. It does not work that way. It falls apart the way a building does after years of small cracks nobody bothered to look at. Quietly, slowly, until one day you walk in and the whole thing is gone and you never even heard it fall. I want to tell you how I finally saw the cracks. I want to tell you about the night everything changed. But first, I have to take you back to the beginning, back to who I was, back to the man who thought he had all the time in the world. I met Eleanor when I was 23 years old. I had just finished my training. I was strong, full of fire, certain I was going to do something that mattered in this world. She was working at a small diner near the station. She poured my coffee one morning, looked at me, and smiled. That was it. That was the whole beginning. A cup of coffee and a smile. I married her 8 months later. In those early years, we had nothing. A tiny apartment with thin walls, a bed that creaked, a single window that looked out at a brick wall. But I remember being happy in a way I did not even know was happiness at the time. We would lie awake at night and talk about everything. The children we would have, the house we would buy, the places we would see together when there was finally enough money and finally enough time. She used to put her hand on my chest and say, "Promise me we will grow old together." And I would say, "Of course we will. We have all the time in the world." I believed it. God help me, I believed it. Then the children came, 2 boys, and the bills came with them. And the shifts got longer because more hours meant more money, and more money meant a better life for them. That is what I told myself. That is what I told her. And she understood. She always understood. That was her gift, and I think now, her tragedy. She never made me feel guilty. She just quietly carried everything I left behind. I want you to understand something. From the outside, my life looked like a success. A respected job, a wife, 2 healthy sons, a house with a yard, neighbors who waved. On paper, I was a man who had it all. But success has a way of hiding the cracks, because here is what nobody saw. I was a stranger in my own home. I knew the layout of every burning building in the city, but I did not know what book my wife was reading. I could tell you the exact weight of a fire hose, but I could not tell you the last time I had asked Eleanor how she truly felt. Not how was your day. I mean, truly felt about her life, about us, about being so often alone. I remember one evening, one ordinary evening, I came home late from a shift. I was tired and proud. We had saved a family from an apartment fire that afternoon, a mother and three small children. I walked in the door expecting, I suppose, for her to be impressed, to be glad. Eleanor was sitting at the kitchen table. The dinner was cold. She had not eaten. She just looked up at me with the saddest eyes I have ever seen, and she said something I did not understand for another 30 years. She said, "You save everyone, but you are never here to save us." And I got angry. Can you believe that? I got angry. I told her I was out there risking my life for strangers, and the least she could do was support me. I told her she did not understand the pressure I was under. I did not see the crack. I stepped right over it. That was the night the first real fracture appeared in our marriage. And like every crack in every building I never inspected, I told myself it was nothing. I told myself there would be time to fix it. Later. But you already know what I'm going to say. Later never came. The years moved faster than I ever thought they could. The boys grew up and moved away. The house got quieter. My hair went grey, then white. My knees started to ache on the ladders. And one day after 34 years, I hung up my helmet for the last time. They threw me a party. There was a cake with a little fire truck on it. Everyone clapped. I came home that night a retired man. For the first time in my whole life, I had nothing but time. And that is when I finally saw her. I mean, truly saw her. Eleanor was sitting in her chair by the window, the same window we used to dream in front of, and she looked so small, so tired. There were lines on her face I had never noticed. Grey in her hair I had somehow missed. She had grown old right beside me, and I had been too busy to watch it happen. I thought, now we have time. Now I can keep my promise. Now we will travel. Now we will talk. Now I will be the husband I always meant to become. I sat down next to her and I said, "Eleanor, let's start living. Let's do everything we always talked about." She turned and looked at me, and she did not smile. She said very softly, "Where were you?" I said, "What do you mean?" "I'm right here." And she said, "No. Where were you for the last 40 years?" I did not have an answer. For the first time in my life, the man who always ran toward the fire had nowhere to run. 3 weeks later, she told me she wanted to leave. I begged her. I told her I had changed, that I finally understood, that we had time now. And she said the words that broke me completely. She said, "I waited for that time my whole life. I am too tired to wait anymore." She was not angry. That was the worst part. Anger I could have fought, but she was not angry. She was just empty. I had spent 40 years slowly burning all the love out of her, one missed dinner at a time, one cold night at a time, and now there was nothing left for me to save. I had run into 100 burning buildings without fear, and I stood in my own living room, completely powerless, watching the most important thing in my life turn to ash in front of me. She packed a single suitcase. I watched her do it. I did not stop her because I finally understood I had no right to. And as she stood at the door, the same door I had walked through late 1,000 times, she touched my chest, right where she used to as a young woman, and she said, "I did love you. I just got tired of loving you alone." Then she was gone. I want to tell you what I learned in that moment, standing in that empty house, because this is the truth I never understood until it was far too late. I always believed that love was something you proved in the big moments, the grand gestures, the sacrifices. I thought that by being a hero to the world, I was being a good man at home. I was wrong. Love is not built in the big moments. It is built in the small ones. The ordinary Tuesday nights, the cups of coffee, the "how was your day" that you actually stay to hear. And I had missed every single one. I have had a lot of years now to sit with what happened. Too many years alone in this quiet house. And in that silence, I have finally understood the things I was too busy to learn when it mattered. So let me give them to you. Not as a hero, as an old man who got it wrong so that maybe you can get it right. The first lie I believed was this, that providing for someone is the same as loving them. It is not. I gave Eleanor a house, food, security, a comfortable life. And I told myself that was love. But she did not need my paycheck. She needed me. She needed my presence. She needed my attention. And those are the two things I never gave her. You can provide for someone your entire life and still leave them starving for the only thing that matters. The second lie was this, that there would be time later. We all believe this one, every single one of us. We tell ourselves the people we love will wait, that the marriage will wait, that the friendship will wait, that our parents will wait, that our children's childhood will wait. We say, I'm busy now, but later I will be there. Listen to me. I am 81 years old and I'm begging you. There is no later. Later is a lie you tell yourself to feel better about today. I thought I had time. I was wrong. Later never came. Later never comes for anyone. The third lie, and this is the one that cut the deepest, was that being needed by the world meant I was succeeding at life. I was needed. I was important. Strangers wept and thanked me. And all the while, the woman who actually loved me was withering in an empty house. The whole world can applaud you, and you can still be failing the only people who truly matter. Here is the strange thing. My entire career, my job was to look for danger before it became disaster. We would inspect buildings. We would check for the small things. A frayed wire, a blocked exit, a crack in a beam. Because we knew the truth that everyone forgets. Catastrophes do not begin as catastrophes. They begin as small things ignored. And I did that for buildings. I did it for strangers' homes. But I never once inspected my own marriage. I never checked the wiring. I never looked at the cracks. I let the small things pile up year after year, telling myself each one was nothing. A marriage does not collapse from one betrayal. It collapses from 1,000 small absences. A friendship does not die from one argument. It dies from the calls you kept meaning to make. A child does not grow distant in one day. They drift, one missed moment at a time, while you tell yourself you are too busy right now. The fire that destroys your life is almost never the big, loud one you are watching for. It is the slow one, the quiet one, the one burning in the next room while you are out being a hero somewhere else. I know this now. I know it with a clarity that costs me my sleep. The people in your life are not waiting for you to do something great. They are waiting for you to simply be there, to show up, to listen, to stay. That is all Eleanor ever wanted from me, to stay. And it was the one rescue I never made. So now I am going to speak directly to you, whoever you are. Wherever you are watching this, I do not know your name. I do not know your story, but I know one thing about you because it is true of almost every person alive. There is someone in your life right now who is quietly waiting for you, waiting for your attention, your time, your presence, waiting for you to simply show up. And you are telling yourself you will get to them. Later, please. I am an old man with nothing left to gain by lying to you. Do not make my mistake. Look around your life tonight. Is there a wife sitting alone in the next room while you stare at a screen? Go to her. Is there a husband you have stopped really talking to? Talk to him tonight. Is there a child who used to run to you and now just shrugs? Do not wait for that to fix itself. It will not. Is there a mother or a father getting older whose calls you keep meaning to return? Call them. Call them now while the phone can still be answered. Because here is what nobody tells you about regret. Regret is not loud. It does not come in a single terrible moment. It comes quietly in an empty house late at night when it is far too late to do anything about it. It comes in the form of a chair by the window where someone used to sit. It comes in a silence you would give anything to fill. I would give every medal I ever earned. I would give every life I ever saved back to fate if I could have just one more ordinary evening with Eleanor. Just one. To sit at that kitchen table. To eat a warm dinner, to hear about her day and actually listen, to tell her I see her, that I always saw her, that she was never alone, not really, because she was always the bravest, kindest thing in my entire life. But I cannot. That door is closed. That time is gone. Later never came. So do not waste your life being a hero to everyone but the people who love you. Do not spend 40 years building a life and forget to live in it. Do not provide so hard that you forget to be present. The applause of strangers will not sit with you when you are old. Only the people you chose to truly love will. And only if you actually chose them every ordinary day when it was hard and quiet and nobody was watching. You still have time. You do. That is the one thing I never had when I finally understood all this. You are hearing it while there is still a door open, while there is still someone to walk back to. That is a gift I would have traded anything for. Do not set it down. Do not tell yourself later. There is no later. There is only now. There has only ever been now. I am 81 years old. I saved hundreds of strangers, and I could not save my own marriage. Do not let them write that about you. Go, right now. Go and find the person you have been meaning to get to, and stay. That is the only rescue that ever truly matters. If this reached something in you tonight, then sit with it for a moment before you move on. Do not just scroll away. Think of the one person who has been waiting for you, and then go be there for them while you still can. That is all an old man asks.